are going to be learning how to attach I-cord edging. You can see it on the sleeve here and on the front of my sweater. We're going to learn how to attach this to a knitted or crocheted project. I-cord is actually a knitting technique. It gives a very stretchy, not a tight bind off, but it also gives a nice finished edge. I'll hold this up so you can get a good look at it. It also has a rolled edge to it, as you can see, so I think it gives a nice crisp finish, and it just has a finished nice edge to it. So let's get started. I'm going to turn the camera around and explain to you what you will need for this project. So the supplies you are going to need are going to be a crochet hook, a set of circular needles, and you want your needles to match the size needles you used on your project. Or if you're doing this, if you're attaching this to a crochet project, you want it to match the hook size that you were using. And then you want to use a ball of yarn that is the same weight yarn as the project that you're going to be putting the I-cord onto. Now I am attaching this to a cardigan. This is all fingering weight. And I'm going to begin by picking up stitches. That's going to be the first thing you do on your project. You want your right side facing up towards you, and you are going to be picking up stitches along the edges where you're going to put the I-cord. So you're always going to be starting from the left and working to the right. And we're going to begin with a slip knot and leave enough of a tail on the yarn to weave in. And the circular needles that you use, you want to make sure you have a long enough cord to go all the way around the area that you're going to be putting the I-cord to. These are not my favorite needles. These are boy needles, and as you can tell, they've got a lot of memory in the cord. But my other ones are occupied right now, so I'm just using these. They'll probably drive me crazy by the end of the project, but anyway, here we go. So I'm going to begin at the edge here, and I'm going to go through those two top stitches. I'm going to put my little slip knot on there, pull it through, and slide it onto the needle. And I'm going to do that for every stitch all the way around the cardigan. Now, a little word of warning, when you come to a cardigan, like when I come all the way around here, I've got an edge here. If you're doing a blanket, you're going to have an edge or a corner. When you get to these corners or places where there is a little bit of difference in your in a straight edge, like here I'm coming off of a straight edge and I'm working my way around the collar, so you can see it's a little different. I'm going to put extra stitches here and here so that my project doesn't like roll in or curl, so that it will continue to stay flat. So you just want to make sure that at any time you don't have a straight surface, wherever there's a curve, you add extra stitches to accommodate that. So let's do a couple of these together. So I'm going to go in and get my second stitch and put that up onto the hook, or onto the needle. And my third. Pull it through. And my third. Pull it through. Slip it onto the needle. And so forth, all the way around my project. So you can pause the video at this point and come back when you have completed getting all of your stitches onto your needles. Again, remember, wherever your project has a turn in it or a curve, you want to incorporate more stitches to pick up so that it does lay flat when you're finished. So pause the video here and come back when you have gotten your stitches all the way around, and we'll go to the next step. I have now gone all the way around my cardigan. You can see it's pretty tight on the needles. And you can see here, this is one of the corners. And you can see looking at it that I have added extra stitches right here so that it will actually lay flat. So now we're on to the next section. How do we make the actual I-cord itself? I-cord is tubular. So we're going to begin, it's a bind off, but it is also a tubular bind off. So I'm going to begin by adding 3 stitches onto my left needle. So there is 1, 2, and 3. So I have my 3 additional stitches, and this is where the bind off part comes in. We're going to knit the first 2. So we knit 1, and then we knit the second, and then we knit the next 2 stitches together. This gives us the decrease. Now we take those 3 stitches, we transfer them back to the left needle. So you're just going to slide them back over. So now I've slid the 3 stitches back over to the left needle, but you will notice the yarn is not at this last stitch. The yarn is actually at the 3rd stitch. And you can see it. It is black, so it is a little difficult to see. But it's actually here at the that 3rd stitch. This is where the tube creates, because you're going to begin knitting these 2 stitches. You're not moving this yarn back to here. By pulling it around the back, that's what gathers these 3 stitches together and forms the tube. So we're going to do this again. So we're going to knit this first stitch, but see the yarn is over here. So we are actually pulling it around the back, and it's going to draw and gather those 3 stitches to form the tube. So there we go with our first stitch. We knit our second stitch. Then we do our decrease, which is 2 stitches knit together. Then we transfer those 3 stitches back over to the left needle. You won't see the tube forming until you get a little ways in, but again, you can see that the yarn here is at this 3rd stitch. You're going to knit this stitch, and these 2 together. So we'll do it a couple more times until you can see the tube forming. And you do want to make sure that this first stitch, you make sure you draw this yarn taut, because otherwise it's not going to gather into a tube as well. Knit the 2 stitches together, transfer all 3 stitches back to the left needle, and repeat again. Make sure that you pull that first stitch taut. So there's 1, 2, and 2 stitches together. Transfer all 3 to the left needle. I'll do it a few more times, and then we will look at how the tube is forming. All right, I've done a little ways here and you can see the tube forming on here. It is definitely starting to roll. So you're going to continue this process until you are all the way around to your last stitch. So pause the video, go ahead and finish off your project with the bind off, and then come back and I'll show you how to end it. I've now gone all the way around on my sweater and I am down to the last 4 stitches. So let me show you how we're going to end this. We are going to knit our first 2, knit the last 2 stitches together, slide them to the left needle just as we have been, tighten it up. This time we are going to knit 1 and knit 2 together, slide them back to the left needle, and then our last time we are just going to knit these 2 together like this. So we have the 1 loop left, as you can see right here, and I usually give this loop a couple of twists, pull it through, and then you are going to, this is your beginning, where you began, this is where you ended, and then I just use a darning needle and these extra ends here, and I just weave them in and connect them so that when you're finished, they will look like this sleeve. The place I ended is actually right here. You can see there was a slight edge right there where they were put together. So if you found this tutorial helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you on Saturday's video. Thanks again for watching. Bye.